Good evening. We are coming to you live from Frisco Park, the stage here at Frisco Park, and we are honored to be joined by Mayor Corey Glenn. Hometown Tour is supposed to be a fun time, but unfortunately, with what's been going on with United Furniture today, we do need to address that. Obviously, Amory kind of went through a little of this with the reorganization of the plant here, and I know you've been. You've been, I'm sure, hearing a lot today after word got out about the shutdown at United.
Certainly, Craig, and yeah, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention those folks. Obviously, we got a lot to showcase here. Certainly appreciate you guys coming down and showcasing our town. But we felt the effect earlier in the summer. We lost 228 associates here in town, and certainly hated that. But our hearts and prayers go out to the other communities, the peripheral communities that are losing those jobs. But indeed, a lot of excitement going on here in Amory.
And one of those things we were talking prior to going on air is the port.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a 174-acre site out there that we deployed about $12.7 million since last couple of years, 7.6 since the first of the year in conjunction with TVA. And we're excited about it. We have those assets optioned out there. We do have a suitor that looks to deploy somewhere north to a couple $100 million out there and maybe 100 or so jobs. And we're very excited about it, very, very fortunate right now.
Now, you're from here.
I am.
I grew up here and still live between Amory and Smithville. And we were talking before we came on the air and of course, my memories of Main Street go all the way back to when I was in high school, and I'd drive the loop from Piggly Wiggly over to Hardee's and back. But you look today, and it seems like there's a new life on Main Street downtown.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear the music behind us,
yeah.
Right? So we put a new speaker system up, a lot of revitalization programs going, or projects, should I say, going on downtown. A few new restaurants and a Gemstone and the pub, and even further north in Smoking Bros. So a lot of cool venues with a lot of nice menus. So certainly solicit all of you guys to come down and hang out for the holiday season. But yes, to your point, it has changed a lot, and we're excited about it.
Got about a minute or so left. So in your job, looking ahead, what is it that maybe folks should be looking for in Amory as far as the future holds?
You know, like we led with there, the port, we're excited about that. Hopefully we've got a solid announcement sometime Q1, Q2, but also continuing those projects. We live in a clean community, and just excited about it. We're also playing for the North Half with our football Panthers this weekend.
We were going to touch on that briefly before we wrapped up. We remember Bobby Hall and the amazing run he had here, and it's kind of cool to kind of sense the excitement with the possibility of another run at the state title.
Absolutely. Coach Dan Peer and staff's done one heck of a job. We'll compete for another North Half title out there, and then also our state championship baseball.
Yes.
Coach Pace. So a lot of excitement going on, not only with our school system, but our extracurricular programs as well. So a lot of good times.
Mayor Corey Glenn, good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking time out. We've got more of our hometown tour, including an interesting connection specifically for Amory. That story is straight ahead on WTVA 9 News at 6. We welcome you back live to our hometown tour in Amory. I'm Craig Ford.
And I'm Emily Leonard, alongside the dance team and the cheer team for Amory High School. Give it one more time, girls. Come on. We're having a really good time out here in Frisco Park.
You know, they had a little practice for when they appeared on Friday Night Fever, so they've got this down pat.
They do, and they're going to need it on Friday night as well.
Big game coming up.
Why not? Well, cities, usually they can be identified by like one word, right? For Tupelo, you think of Elvis, of course.
Absolutely. And if you say Starkville or Oxford, you think of their respective universities. But when it comes to Amory, there's one thing in particular that stands out. You can see it when you come here. From the big park downtown, to the museum on the south side of town, to the overpass you see driving into town. The railroad is what made this city a reality.
Amory is this region's first planned city. It was put on this site by the railroad because they wanted a refueling station between Memphis and Birmingham.
Wayne Knox oversees the Amory Regional Museum that reminds visitors how important the railroad is to this city. That includes an influence so big it affected how streets were laid out, some running parallel to the railroad at the railroad's request, others running north, south, east, and west.
And where the two meet, you end up with all these odd triangular blocks and partial blocks and intersections, and it's just an absolute mess.
Of course, trains have changed significantly since their start here. They don't bring passengers anymore, just products, some raw, some finished. But the trains, the tracks, everything associated with the railroad, they're still here.
The railroad still plays a major role in Amory, and they are a big source of business for us.
And I don't know if you can hear it, but the railroad timed it just right.
Yep, cue the train. You can hear it in downtown.
Absolutely, coming through. So I'm not sure how we arranged that, but whoever did, good timing on their part. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And of course, you've got the train here in Frisco Park. And your story that you just did, the railroad playing such a large part of this city and this city's history.
And I'm embarrassed to say this, but as long as I have lived in Monroe County on and off, I had never really spent any time at the Amory Regional Museum, but that is, if you get a chance, that is an awesome facility.
Yeah.
Allow yourself some time to see all the things that are there, including this city's history with the railroad. They actually have a train where on the inside you can walk through, but it's a walkthrough where you get to see this city's history with the railroad. It's awesome. It's worth the time.
I'll have to check it out. Definitely take the kids as
Yes.
well. Great story, Craig. Thank you so much for that. Let's take a look outside. It's nice and chilly here. All the poor girls, y'all have got to be freezing, right? Current time is about 6:13. We're going to look outside at where else? Amory, Mississippi. A little chilly out here. It's probably chilly where you live too. Our chief meteorologist, Matt Lobhon, he's out here with us as well for our hometown tour. We'll have more of the tour coming up with our full forecast in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.
Your WTVA Severe Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon.
I usually feel fairly confident about my standing with this guy here. I try to behave myself most of the time. But it's a little cold tonight. And I guess I'm not as worried about him as these lovely ladies that, well, I guess you're not typically on the cheer or dance squad and not used to some cold. Is it cold enough for y'all? Well, we definitely picked a cool sort of evening. Not as cold as it has been out here, but we appreciate all those dance squad girls and cheerleaders from here in Amory for coming out once again to help us out on this hometown tour that we're doing. I'm trying to keep Santa in the shot. I guess he's even trying to get cut out of that there. But it's definitely not as cold as it has been the last couple of days. Temperatures coming in right now at about 47 degrees. There's not much of a wind chill, thankfully, because that temperature coming in at 47 and the wind chill is the same value because those winds are calm. Our forecast, it's a little warmer for a few other spots. That's why those temperatures slightly more mild we show over the next hour or so there. But dropping down in the low 40s by around 11 o'clock and probably quite a few 30s out there again for tomorrow morning. We're 37 by 3 o'clock in the morning. We're 35 as we look to begin tomorrow. So a little frosty to begin the first part of your early morning on your Wednesday. A big travel day. We'll talk more about that travel forecast in a minute. Rainfall over the next few days. Not as much on the way for tomorrow, but we look toward Thanksgiving, the day after, Saturday. There are chances there. They're going to materialize in some cases more than 2, maybe more than 3 inches of rain. Some of the better rain that we've had recently with chances. You can see we're looking where some of the heaviest rainfall, most of it's south and west on your Thanksgiving day, arriving late in the day in particular. Friday, it's just kind of a mix of the pre-dawn zone there, especially. And then let's look towards Saturday, some heavy showers, maybe even some thunderstorms there to mix into that forecast. Those are the 3 days that we're targeting over the next 5 with the heavier rainfall amounts. Your travel forecast looking pretty good all in all considered around the region for tomorrow. We show those temperatures into the middle 60s for many spots out there. As you can see, though, not a lot of big travel troubles, not just here, even nationally, related to our next storm system coming in, but it will obviously have rainfall for us, and that could impact that able forecast. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. So tonight, as you can imagine there, with the clear skies, another night where those temperatures drop. We're mid-30s for the first part of tomorrow morning. Our meteorologist Chelsea Simmons tracking the latest on that on WTVA 9 News today. 60s by noontime, mid-60s by tomorrow afternoon. Normal this time of year is around 62. So while I'm joking about it being cool, honestly, we typically should be about 62, and we're going to have those temperatures a little bit in excess of that. We're showing you kind of maybe some of those wind sort of feel sort of graphics out there as we are clear, and we are, for the most part, as you can see, still dry on your Wednesday. We do expect, though, some rain chances start to arrive on your Thursday. Notice first part of the day we are dry with the better chances arriving by late in the day and into the evening on your Thanksgiving Day. 6 p.m. still mainly showing up dry there with our rain chances increasing as we go into the evening, possibly impacting that forecast for the Egg Bowl there. I think our forecast there a little conservative at this point. When we look at that forecast for the Egg Bowl, we got to show that for a moment here. And as you might imagine, some rainfall in that forecast. I prepare accordingly. Hopefully things can hold off, but I don't know that it's necessarily a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast, which has those temperatures likely heading, as you would imagine, a little cooler with the rainfall on the Thanksgiving Day. We're looking at some lower, the middle 60s on your Thanksgiving Day, low 60s by your Friday. And again, some thunderstorms into Saturday. How strong? How many? Still some questions there. We're working to resolve. We'll have more updates on that tonight at 10 on WTVA 9 News. We're back in that warm studio. Maybe my brain will think a little bit better. Okay, so we're live here in Amory. Thank you to all the dance team and the cheerleaders here for coming out and supporting us. We'll have more WTVA 9 News at 6 coming up here live from Amory in a couple minutes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our hometown tour.
I'm telling you, they're great, aren't they?
They're wonderful. We should have them travel with us.
Yes.
Everywhere we go. Yeah. Walmart, Tractor Supply, wherever we need to go. They'd be right there behind us. Well, okay, let's move on. Let's talk about food because it's one of my favorite things to talk about. And every city seems to have the spot for local eats.
That's right. And WTVA's Ethan Foster has a look at a restaurant here in Amory that's been around for around 100 years, and he shares with you what makes it so special.
If you're visiting downtown Amory, there are lots of historic locations and locales to choose from, but some might argue that there are none as iconic as a little restaurant on Vinegar Bend called Bill's Hamburgers.
Hello.
Today, Krista and Zach Smith run daily operations at Bill's. The husband and wife duo are carrying on a legacy started just across the street as Bob's Hamburgers in 1929.
I've worked here for 19 years, so I've literally done this like my whole life.
Krista's parents, Reed and Janice Wilkerson, bought Bill's in November of 2003 and are the current owners. People of all ages come make it a point to stop by and get a bite of Bill's. What do you love most about Bill's, man?
Their food is really good. I think it's like the best hamburgers I've ever had.
Best hamburgers in town?
Yeah.
Whether it's for the friendly faces,
it's been here for such a long time that, you know, it's very enjoyable. The atmosphere is good. The people are nice.
Or the convenience.
I think it's service because if you got a 30-minute lunch break, you can drive over here, eat lunch, and go back to work.
Everybody at that tile bar has their Bill's story.
I used to travel through here off and on. I'd get a dozen hamburgers and carry it home and freeze them and we'd eat.
And for good reason. It's that good, huh?
Oh, it's that good. Yeah.
Critics agree that the burgers live up to their namesake. How's that taste?
Really good.
Well, I don't think there's a better way to close out this story than sharing my first ever Bill's Hamburger with you all at home. So without further ado, for the hometown tour here in Amory, I'm Ethan Foster for WTVA 9 News.
The favorite part of that story was when we tossed to it and all the girls back here went, Bill's.
Yep.
They know.
Have you ever had one?
I have not had
What?
one. I know.
Oh my goodness!
It's not like you brought me one.
No, this is true, but but,
Ethan, you didn't bring us one either.
Yes, Ethan is working behind the scenes. And here's the thing: Ethan lives in Monroe County, and that was his first time having a Bill's hamburger.
I'm gonna have to have one. I got a lot to do in Amory.
We've got more of our hometown tour straight ahead. Stay with us.
We want to thank you so much for joining us for our hometown tour in Amory. Right on cue.
We're doing it again next month in New Albany. We will see you then. Ladies, take us out.
Yeah.